Once upon a time, in the land of Achike lived a man, a worshipper of Christ by the name Althogh. Mazi Althogh was known throughout the entire land of Achike for his unwavering faith in God. The land of Achike, in the other hand, was not favorable for the kind of man like Althogh. For in that land, idolatry and witchcraft was prevalent. The people of the Achike land strongly believed in the God of their forefathers, their wicked demonic practices and idolatry. It was in those days that evil men were hailed as the strong, while the good men were seen as weakling, Mazi Althogh included. Although Mazi Althogh has never in any way confronted anyone about their belief, but that did not spare him from the constant threats and humiliations he often gets from the people of Achike. His family were ostracized. They were forbidden to fetch water, where a freeborn of Achike is supposed to fetch water. In other words, all their legal rights as the citizens of Achike were stripped from the family of Mazi Althogh. In a bid to break the man, the king of Achike by the name Uda fought the helpless. But that did not in any way discourage Mazi Althogh from the faith he had in God. It only made him a stronger believer. So, when the king of Achike saw that Althogh is not yielding to his pressure, he openly declared him an enemy. It's either he bows to my authority or let him prepare to perish. He has snarled in one of their fruitless efforts to persuade Mazi Althogh to conform. Not long after the last confrontation from the king, Mazi Althogh was once again sermoned by the wicked king in front of the villagers. He has already purposed in his heart to deal the last blow to Althogh in order to put an end to his worship to God. That very day, the village square was filled to the brim. The presence of Mazi Althogh was announced, and he was commanded to step out in the open by the king's men. And so the people of Achike watched impatiently, horror written on their faces, knowing that this might be the end of Mazi Althogh. And it was in the gathering that the king made his plan open to the hearing of everyone. Mazi Althogh, he snarled, I've waited patiently for the day you will obey, but you have vehemently disobeyed my decrees. Here is my ring, he said, and stretched out his hand, offering him his signature ring. The king of Achike, in the presence of the villagers, commanded that Mazi Althogh should take the ring. If you're able to bring it back to me in 3 days, I will bow to your God. I will put an end to idolatry in Achike land. But if you fail, you and your household will be put to death in the village square. But peradventure, you have a change of heart here and now. You will denounce your God, and no life will be wasted. The king of Achike sternly concluded his speech and waited for a response. The people of Achike murmured and gossiped as fear gripped everyone. The family of Mazi Althogh was panic-stricken, in a corner where they watched knowing that their lives are in danger. But suddenly, a firm, gentle voice was heard, "May the king live long!" Mazi Althogh greeted, "Let it be known today that I have never in my worship to God purposed in my heart, whether confronted by death or not, to bow to an idol. If it pleases the Lord that I will perish this way, let it be so," he said, and stretched forth his hand. The king ring-bearer walked up to him and offered the ring. And as the king quickly stormed out of sight, the villagers raised an alarm. That night turned into a night of mourning in Mazi Althogh's household. He tried all he could to comfort his family. "We have nothing more to do but to pray. I'm deeply sorry to have put your lives in danger. Forgive me," he pleaded, tears swelling in his eyes, which he tried so well to hide. The king is evil and has purposed evil in his heart. He's full of diabolic practices, and so everyone should expect everything, he said calmly, simply putting it to their understanding. that the journey can become an impossible one unless the God of heavens intervenes. So, the family comforted him, making him realize that they're solidly behind him. It warmed his heart to know. And having concluded his speech, a brief prayer was made by him, and everyone sorrowfully went to bed. Seeing that the family has dispersed, Mazi Okolo went into his room and safely secured the ring, where no one in the house will be able to find it, except himself, and he never ceased to pray. And so, the counting begins. The first day passed, and the ring was there where it was kept. The second day went by, and nothing happened, but on the morning of the third day, Mazi Okolo discovered to his horror that the ring has suddenly disappeared. As he went to check as his manner was, he hastily summoned his family and announced the bad news, and fear gripped his household. They searched and searched. The family panicked and turned the whole house upside down in search of the ring. But the king's ring was nowhere to be found, because it has suddenly disappeared out of the thin air. "My God!" Mazi Okolo cried out of despair. The king of Achike has ruled and subjected his people to his dark side. He has before manipulated his way to the throne, and now the people of Achike land is gripped under the intensive power of his sorcery, and his dark shadow covered the entire land. In his unending quest for power, King Uda had sold his soul to the devil. His people groaned under his wicked rule and manipulation. "You must do as he ordered, or prepare to die." That was why he couldn't accept
I make
what he
the
called
rules
a
obey
defeat
or prepare
from
to
Mazi
perish.
Okolo. He vowed to unleash his wickedness on him, and is ready to go to any length to achieve that. And that was how he took the form of a shadow, appeared in Mazi Okolo's room, where he hid the ring and took it without anyone knowing. The king of Achike land is known to possess a sorcery power that allows him to take the form of anything he desires. He has the ability to appear and disappear anytime he wants. So, on that very day that he handed Mazi Okolo his ring in the village square, King Uda, unknowingly to Mazi Okolo, followed him in the spirit and saw where he kept the ring. That was his original plan from the onset, to make sure that Mazi Okolo will not be able to return the ring, and that was what he did, and quietly waited as a rattlesnake will wait for its victim. "Let me see how you can save your neck, you ignorant fool," he has snarled as he took the ring that night. Mazi Okolo, on the other hand, on seeing that the ring was nowhere to be found, bravely prepares the mind of his family amid sobs. His wife and children sobbed as he gallantly talked to them. "Our lives are in God's hands, believe me," he said, and told the wife to prepare a meal, while he goes to the market to buy a fish, so that the family will have their last meal before dying. And so he left and went to the market and bought the fish. Already the family is busy preparing the meal. Mazi Okolo returned and handed the fish to his wife to use for cooking, and then he turned his back and slowly walked into his room to pray.
He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
He has made up his mind to be in prayer until their last breath. But suddenly, he heard the most loudest scream of his life.
"It's a miracle, Father, look!"
And on opening his eyes, still kneeling in the prayer position, he saw his daughter run to him in a haste. She was shivering as she stood, staring hard, her mouth opened in shock.
"Father, take a look, Father!"
She managed to utter, "Take a look, Father!" And when Mazi Okolo looked at his daughter messed up hand, because blood was dripping down her hand. "What, my daughter? Did you cut yourself?" Mazi Okolo panicked at the sight. "Look, Father!" the daughter muttered again. "The ring! Father!" she added. "The king's ring, my father," she whispered, tears pouring down her cheeks. "What?" Mazi Okolo exclaimed. By now, the whole family was jumping and screaming in excitement. "The king's ring," the elderly man asked, tears of joy filling his eyes. "The ring, my father."
While I cut the fish, I found the ring. The Lord has spared our lives.
She added. "Ha! Ha! Ha!" The elderly man laughed. "Oh, sure he did, my child," he responded amidst laughter, and took a short dancing step. And that was how the whole scenario suddenly changed from tears of mourning to that of laughter, for their God intervened, hastily fought his people. The family ate and drank to their full. They thanked the God of heaven for his last-minute intervention and kept the whole matter a secret. Already when Mazi Okolo found out that the ring was missing, he presented himself to the king and was told to go home and prepare to die in the evening time. The news of the missing ring has spread. Achike was in mourning, but no one dares to confront the king for a change of heart. Everybody waited for the slaughter time. The king couldn't hide his excitement either. It has worked as he planned. But later that evening, when Mazi Okolo and his household were summoned to stand out, to be stoned to death, the king gave a warning speech to the hearing of everyone, and later offered an opportunity for Mazi Okolo to say his last word. And that was when the man stepped forward, a funny kind of smile on his face. It baffles the king to see a man about to die with his household grinning.
"He's a stubborn foo. Let him laugh to his death,"
he sternly snarled. And to his disbelief, King Uda shockingly watched as the elderly man put his hand in his inner breast pocket and retrieved the ring. Mazi Okolo raised the ring up to everyone's astonishment.
"The ring, my king! It's impossible!"
The king hastily whispered, standing on his feet. "Well spoken, my king, impossible!" The elderly man responded. "My God of impossibilities has made it possible, my king. He has seemed it right to spare our lives, and we're grateful."
"My God reigns!"
the elderly cried out, as everyone bows to the God of heaven, the God that Mazi Okolo as his household worshipped, King Uda taking the lead. And that was how idolatry was banished from Achike land, for King Uda fulfilled his promise. The people of Achike were free, and Mazi Okolo and the family returned home, triumphantly. The end.